Hey, thanks for checking out the video. If you all like it, please like and subscribe, and hope you all enjoy it. Have a great rest of the day.
State flag. What's up in the corner of the state flag?
Oh, is that what it is? Is it what it is?
Oh, there's a lot of people's opinion. I have my researched opinion. I will tell you it is exactly what it is, a crescent. Okay? Now, she said it was on the hat pin of the 2nd South Carolina, or all the Carolina regiments, especially the 1st and 2nd Infantry, but they were all captured and surrendered in Charleston in 1780. But like Francis Marion, if you ever see a picture of him, he's got this light infantry camp with the upturned crescent. Okay, so that symbol, a lot of people will say, oh, it's a gorget. But it's really a crescent. Now, is it a crescent moon? No, not in my opinion, because it's a symbol of a crescent. Where do you see the symbol of a crescent? You see it in the Middle East. Okay, the Muslims use it. They still use it in a couple countries like Turkey to represent the Chrism crescent, which is their red cross. And they still have a crescent. If you look at the heraldry of flags and of, especially a lot of English people here in the States, they had their heraldry flags with them. You'll find crescents in there, upturned crescents. That symbolized their family probably fighting in the Crusades and participating in battles or a crusade to fight against the Muslims' invasion and trying to liberate Jerusalem and the Christian areas. Well, Lieutenant Governor Bull, who was the Lieutenant Governor in Charleston, and Colonel Moultrie, who was commanding the forts outside of Fort Sullivan, wanted to have a flag, or a flag along the fort so they knew whose was whose. And it is written that they did the indigo blue and they put in a crescent. Now, if you go to Fort Moultrie, you'll find the upturned crescent. There are some paintings from British people that were on some of the ships firing in 1776 in June for the first battle of Charleston, where they showed it was upturned. But history says that it's tilted. And the reason they tilted it because it's an increscent versus an equal crescent versus a decrescent. An increscent moon or an increscent means prosperity is coming in. That would have been the symbol. That's why the Americans probably picked it as that symbol. Of course, on the hat it was pointed upward. So in 2018, the state finally wanted to have something that was official about the flag, especially to standardize the palmetto tree. And so they say it's just a crescent that represented the heraldry from the British coat of arms from probably some of their people fighting in the the Crusades. Okay, do you think anybody else coming out?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, why is it called a 3-pounder? Anybody know? It weighs 300 and something pounds. Well, 250, 300 pounds, depending on if it's a brass or this is an iron gun. A 4-pounder can be up to about 2,000 pounds. A 6-pounder up to 3,000 pounds. Why is it called a 3, 4, 5-pound, 6-pounder?
Weight of the shot.
3-pound ball. Now, in the movies, you see them shoot the ball all the time. Okay? In a field conditions, out here on a battlefield, that is absolutely worthless to me as an artilleryman. How big's the musket ball? How big's that cannonball? Still only one person, right? Now, if I can get on a line and shoot down a line, yeah, but that's hard to do in these linear battles of the war. Okay, so, so this represents a grasshopper. We actually have another set of handles that go up, that turn up. When this gun fires, it comes up a foot and back 4 feet. Hence the name grasshopper or butterfly. But the unique thing about this is a 4 and a 6-pounder takes about anywhere from 10 to 16 additional guys with tow ropes on these hooks to drag the gun into action. When the gun is in action, it's only the 5-man crew. They are not going to be able to drag that 2 or 3,000 pound cannon off the battlefield. Not only that, to get it into firing position, you're going to have to break down the fence. Okay, you're not going to get to go through the woods. The beauty of this one is 4 men can carry it. At 250, 300 pounds, 4 men can litter carry it. These are actually the poles that go to the front there, and the bent poles get turned upside down, and you can actually lift it like a litter. That means they can carry it into the battle, they can move it forward with the infantry, or move it back with the infantry. Any military guys here? MOS?
0311. 0311.
Okay, so I don't know what's a mortarman in the Marine Corps, same thing?
61.
Okay, so I was 11 Bravo Army, but 11 Charlie's mortarman. So I can make the lineage that this is a mortar because it's a battalion gun. It was under the control of the battalions and regiments where the field artillery would have been under the command of the general. Although they do typically put these in side-by-side configuration, okay? So, now, the interesting thing about, what these guns really were in those days, what's the maximum effective range of a musket?
100 yards, 100 feet.
Maximum range.
Maximum range, 100 yards.
It's about 300 yards.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, maximum effective range. So where's your musket? Right here. You don't have a ball with you, dude? No. Okay, so if I was to take a musket ball for this round best and put that 75 caliber ball down there, it would just, which means it's not rifled, right? So when it comes out, this thing's going clankety, clankety. That's why it's so inaccurate. Okay? Now, at 300 yards, they're going to start shooting at each other to test the number of times the other side can fire. Because if I can fire 3 rounds a minute, which was the standard, 3 rounds a minute every 20 seconds, and they can only fire 2, I'm going to lead the day. So I'm going to out-firepower them, especially as they get closer. 200 yards, it goes from like 20% of maybe hitting somebody at 300 yards, to maybe 35, 40% of the time at 200 yards. But when you get to 100 to 75 yards, it goes up to 50, 60%. Those were done with tests by the British and the French under non-combat conditions. So the percentage goes down a lot when other people are shooting at you, right? But you want to get to less than 100 yards with those muskets to have an effect. And the other reason why is, how long does it take to load a musket?
A minute.
20 seconds. Not a rifled musket, this is the military smoothbore musket. How fast do you think you young guys can run 100 yards in? They can do it in less than 20 seconds. So you think about it.
I'll be back in 5
If I
minutes.
get to within 75 yards and I blast off my line and I'm in the middle of reloading and the other line just fixes bayonets, they're going to get to me. What was the most effective killing instrument on the battlefield in the Revolutionary War?
Bayonet.
Bayonet.
Edged weapons. You heard it. But it's the saber and the bayonet. Why? Because they don't need to be reloaded. The British were real good at using them. They didn't mind sticking people, and neither did the Continentals. Continentals got real good at it. Now, this is where this beauty comes in. Unfortunately, in the Southern campaign, there were very few options to use them. Yes, at the Battle of Camden, the first major land battle in South Carolina, other than the defeat of the British Navy in June of 1776 at Sullivan's Island, the Battle of Camden had a total of 18 cannons on the battlefield. Now, 9 on each side, actually. We lost all ours. Were captured. But, so remember, I told you at 300 yards. So at 300 yards, I'm going after you with 1-inch steel balls with half a pound of powder. Okay? For instance, that round best has about 120 grains behind its 75 caliber bullet. A 50 caliber bullet today, NATO 50 caliber, has 256 grains. That's double. That's higher velocity. But this, with this, 300 yards, yeah, I'm putting holes in you, baby. And when you get to within 100 yards, you're coming against this. I'm going to fill this can with whatever I want. Musket balls, rocks, nails, chain. And you're getting within 100 yards with a half a pound of powder behind it, you're in trouble. This can make a difference. Even one gun in the hands of 50 soldiers against 200 can make a big difference. The problem is they're just not always available, especially in the terrain. Think about I can't demonstrate it here, but think about driving down the road. The only difference is there were a lot more long-leaf pine trees, okay? But it was all close. There were no major roads except the Great Wagon Road north-south and the one from Salisbury down to, not Augusta, Augusta. So that's where the wagons were going. Other than that, it's a one-horse road. This is 1 horse wide, okay? That's why these were popular, if you could get them. But here's an interesting thing. The max range on this can at 4 degrees elevation, remember this is a direct fire weapon, meaning I have to see what I'm aiming at. They didn't lob shells. They had mortars for that, that's a different thing. But they got to see what they're aiming at. Do you think you can see 300 yards in a lot of these wood lines and stuff? No. But the max range for this is 1,000 yards. A 4-pounder, which is 3/4 pounds of a charge, is only 200 yards farther, and a 6-pounder is only 400 yards farther. But they're ineffective at that rate because nobody ever gets to see that distance, okay? Yes, there were places like at Guilford Courthouse. Obviously, when you're going against a fort, you can pull back and make ranges and clear fields of fire to get the ranges so nobody can shoot you with a musket. So, so in South Carolina, there were a lot less opportunities to use them. Even the British at Hopkirk Hill tried to drag a 6-pounder up through the woods to get to the Brits, and they never employed theirs. Their scouts told the British forces that the Americans didn't have any. Fortunately, 2 6-pounders had come up that night before, so they only got one into action. But okay, so that's the type of ammunition. That's how we kind of employed it. So what I need now is 5 volunteers. So I need somebody really strong. I need a Marine. Come over here. Yes, you come over here. Stand right here. I need somebody who can multitask.
Not me.
I need a smart guy. Multitask over here. The other side. The enemy is this way, so face that way. I need one other person. I need a powder monkey.
Come on, powder monkey's easy.
Come on,
Just
powder
drop their
monkey.
head.
Stand behind the box. Okay. All right, so it's a crew of 5. The people up here are called Montroses. There are 2 instruments. The worm, hold that up like this, just like that. You do the same. We have the rammer and the sponge. Hold that up like that. Yeah. I mean, it's presenter. Okay, you are the 2 gunners. You're gunner number 2. You are going to prime the weapon system, so fire. And you're the smartest guy on the crew, okay? Because you can do math in your head, right? Yeah, because he ultimately, if the gun captain isn't around or they have more guns, it's going to be him that makes the decision to fire. Powder monkey, your job is to bring the powder charge up to the gunner here. Okay, so we always want to clear the weapon first. So the first thing you're going to do when I say search the piece is you're going to lean over, hands underneath, see where these tines are? And you're going to put it in so the tines have to come this way. So you're going to roll up your hand underneath, lean over, push it in, hands underneath. Turn it 3 times and pull it out real fast. Okay. Okay. Next command is carry the charge. You now, sir, when I say carry the charge, you take this hand, put it behind your back. So this hand, just run up, pretend, slap her hand. She's got the charge. I'm going to say, load the charge. You reach over, put it down into the barrel. Just pretend. Next command is ram the charge. Take the other end. Push it down, and then hit it a couple times real hard. No, just like, yeah, there you go. Hands underneath. Now the important part for you is we've just loaded a live round down there. If we've been firing constantly and it hasn't been cleared, that cotton bag could go off. So it's important that you have your hands underneath when you're doing it, because if your hands are like this and the thing goes off, you'll lose your hands. I'd rather have you just lose your thumb. All right. You, sir, once he is sponged, you can take your hand off. Next command. Now the charge is down there. The charge has been pushed. This cotton charge is pushed all the way to the end, and there's a vent hole here. He is going to take a quill. Oh yeah, I gotta reshow that. So what we have is a quill, and we use the same thing. We only use a cotton straw. It's cut off. It's about that long, and it's stuffed with glue and gunpowder. So you, sir, would then take that pick, push straight down. Do not wiggle it. There you go. Pull it out, and then you'll take this hand and stick the quill in. Just pretend for now. I know it's beat up. There you go. Now the gun is charged and ready. You, sir, stand this way, face the enemy. Have this in your hand. Okay? This is called a linstock. That is 100% cotton rope dipped in potassium nitrate. Yes, they had potassium nitrate in those days. It means the rope will burn hotter. Okay, it's also harder to put out. Once the quill's in, the gun is ready to go. I will give you the command. Here, watch me. I'm going to give you the command. And you're sitting here just doing this because you want to keep the air flowing. I'm going to give the command. Make ready. I'm going to raise it up. I'll say fire, and you come in behind and tap it, and it should go boom. Okay? Let's practice. Make ready. Hold it up. Just one hand. Fire. Boom. Make sure you're away from the wheel because it's going to come back 4 feet. Okay? All right. So let's go through those commands again. Search the piece. Reach over. So what she's, stick it in. Hands underneath. So she's turning it. Now she wants to get any remaining powder bag out of there. Pull it out. Vent. Now vent. The reason he's venting is before he, go ahead. Go ahead, put your thumb stall on there. Thumb stall. When he pushes that damp, it's not wet, pushes it through. We don't want anything coming up off there. So typically that's not wet, it's damp. We push it in the water bucket and we just drain it out as much as possible. So now he's ready to sponge the piece. So it's a damp mop. He's going to turn it 3 times. Hopefully he'll get dampened and get any remaining residue out of there. When he pulls it out when it's damp, it's really tight in there and you'll hear a pop. That's a vacuum. That's science. It's working in our favor to draw anything out. Okay, take your thumb off. Now we go through the loading sequence again. Carry charge. Hand behind your back. Load the charge. Ram the charge. Pick a prime. Punch. Quill. Pick ready. Fire. Boom. Oh, okay. Good. Now, see how fast I did that? How many times do you think you can fire this in a minute? Huh? How many times does a musket man fire? 3 times a minute. How many times do you think they fire it? 4 to 5 times a minute. Why is that?
You've got a team instead of dealing with one
NASCAR.
person.
Think of a NASCAR pit crew.
Yep.
That's right. It's a teamwork. That infantry guy has got to do all that stuff himself. Okay? These guys just have to do it in sequence, and they practice all the time. So is the infantry guy. Okay? So, no, we're not going to fire it. Sorry. There's other opportunities to do if you pay attention to the 250th, but that is the British 3-pounder. There's 3 things I want. There's 3 things I want you guys to remember before you leave here today. What state had more battles in it than any other state? Anybody?
South Carolina.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Oh, Jersey.
South Carolina was a close second. Okay? But here's something. Here's the difference. Of the top 25 casualty-producing battles in the Revolutionary War, that's killed, wounded, captured, and missing. Total numbers of casualties of the top 25 battles, how many were in this state? 7. The top 2 were the siege and surrender of Charleston in March of 1780, and then the Battle of Camden. Hopkirk Hills in the top 10. Utah Springs. Utah Springs had more British casualties in it than any other battle. It was also the longest battle in the Revolutionary War. Time-wise. Now, that means that almost 1/3 of all casualties produced in the Revolutionary War were in this state in 2 years. How many of you knew that? It's pretty significant, isn't it? Now, do you know why you don't know? Anybody want to know?
Because the old guys up in New England wrote the book and they gave them all the credit.
George Bancroft, the Sushi's talking about, who in 1856 wrote the definitive history of the United States to be used in schools. 10 volumes. 10 pages were devoted to Revolutionary War history in South Carolina. What does South Carolina do in 1861? Two important things. Fort Sumter, we fire and start the war of aggression against Northern aggression, right? And our state flag, although at the time did not have the palmetto tree. Oh, they put the palmetto tree in it in 1861 and called it, and it's still called today, the secessionist flag. George Bancroft, who was a huge Lincoln guy and wrote his eulogy, decided after the Civil War to rewrite the history book. He took out 8.5 pages. Why should you give credit for South Carolina contributing to fighting British tyranny and aggression only to turn around and fight against the Northern aggression and tyranny? Okay? Now, the sad part about it is, what grade are you in?
3rd.
So 4th grade, 8th grade, 11th grade in the state of South Carolina has a requirement to understand colonial and Revolutionary War history. What? Are any teachers here?
No.
Huh? Okay. What are teachers and schools evaluated on? Test scores. Standardized test scores. How many questions in the state of South Carolina are contributed to Continental and Revolutionary War? Zero. If you want to make a change, you need to talk to your elected leaders. And that's why the 250th is important. That's why we go around trying to educate. Okay? And so that's our story. I'm sticking with it. Sorry we can't boom. Okay? All right. Thanks.